At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other toppings, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
It was the Thanksgiving holiday when it happened?
Yes.
What day of the Thanksgiving holiday? Was it on actual Thanksgiving?
No, day before 11/21.
Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry for both of you. I'm so sorry. And I know that there will never be another Thanksgiving where you don't think about this.
These are the plaintiffs, Otis and Shirley Brown. Otis says the defendant borrowed money for her son's funeral, and now she's ignoring their calls and requests for repayment. They know she collected money from the insurance company, and they're tired of waiting around to be repaid for the good deed they did, and are suing the ingrate for the $2,780 they're rightfully owed. This is the defendant, Marjorie Scott. She says the plaintiff's daughter and her son were together for 6 years, and when he passed away, she stole his jewelry and money he had in their apartment. The plaintiffs and their daughter are inconsiderate. They didn't shed one tear at the funeral, and she doesn't owe them any money because they treated her terribly and stole from her late son. She's accused of fouling up a funeral.
All parties, please use your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Can we do something? You are the one who was the fiance of the gentleman who passed away, right? Can you come up to the... Yeah, just switch with her 1 second. Go ahead, right there.
Yep.
There you go. What's your name?
Thank you, ma'am.
Rashida Evans.
All right, Rashida, how long were you with him?
For 8 years.
And his name was?
Gilmore Van Leer.
All right. And how did he pass away?
Heart attack, natural causes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you have a close relationship with this is his mom?
Yes.
Okay. Before his passing, did you have a good relationship with her?
Yes, it was okay.
Did you have children together with him?
No.
All right. So were you with him when he passed?
Yes. It was him and I in an apartment. He died in my arms.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the funeral was going to cost some money.
Correct.
And there was an insurance policy, correct, that should have covered that?
Yes.
But the policy wasn't, it was the Thanksgiving holiday when it happened?
Yes.
What day of the Thanksgiving holiday? Was it on actual Thanksgiving?
No, day before 11/21.
Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry for both of you. I'm so sorry. And I know that there will never be another Thanksgiving where you don't think about this. So you couldn't exactly put in a claim with all of those holiday days that were going in. So what was the agreement, according to you, that was reached?
Friday the 23rd, I went to Miss Linda's house. Prior to that, on Thanksgiving Day, we went to the funeral home. We couldn't do anything because it was a holiday and the insurance company was closed. So Friday, I came back to Miss Linda's house.
Who's Miss Linda? This is Marjorie Scott. Is that what they call you, Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
And we all We're in there making plans, trying to get everything together, like the obituary and everything. And I was upset because the funeral, the insurance company was closed. He wouldn't have a proper burial that he was supposed to have within 72 hours because he's Muslim.
Because he's what?
Muslim.
Oh, so he has to be buried within 72 hours?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. So after that, Miss Linda went upstairs. When she came back down, I told her, I said, my parents are willing to loan the money. They have a promissory letter. They would do it if you sign it and get it notarized. My mom came down.
Now, at the time, she thought this was a good idea, right? Because she wanted to respect her son's religious wishes, too. Okay.
Yes. My mom came to Miss Linda's house. We all went to her bank, and we all signed it. And I guess the teller...
When you say went to the bank, that's for the notary?
Yes.
Okay.
And signed the letter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so, Mr. Brown, how much was it that you folks put forward?
The total amount was, I believe, $3,700, $3,780, Your Honor. And she was supposed to pay us $2,780.
And who was paying the rest? You?
Yes.
All right. So what seems to be the problem? Because it appears to be very straightforward. So tell me why it's not.
As she stated, the funeral parlor called, and we went to make the arrangements the day before Thanksgiving. And if we wanted him to be buried on Saturday, it would have to be paid in cash. And I says, no, I have the policy. It's either Saturday, either Tuesday. I says, well, I will wait until Tuesday when the policy clears on Monday. And Rashida hollers.
Was your son Muslim?
Yes, ma'am.
Would he have wanted to be buried within the 72 hours?
Well, I asked the funeral parlor director, would he be still get the same blessings if we waited until Tuesday? And he says, your God will understand this is out of your control.
All right,
So,
but apparently what you're saying now is not what you ended up doing, because you agreed to borrow the money and pay it back.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Well, you signed a promissory note. Let me see the promissory note, please. Is that your, go ahead and give it to her. Is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am, it is. But the way it happened, she jumps up in the chair in the kitchen.
Okay, save us a trip. Go ahead.
Yeah. She jumps up in the kitchen and says, no, he's going to be buried on Saturday. I want him buried on Saturday. I says, I'm going to wait until Tuesday. So she says, let me make a phone call. She left out the kitchen and went into the living room to make a phone call and came back and said, my parents said they would give you $1,000 if you sign a promissory letter. Here, this is less than 24 hours after my son passed, and I'm not in my right state of mind, and I'm grieving, and I was under my anxiety medication. And so I says, I'm going to wait until Tuesday. So she insisted that he be buried on Saturday.
Okay,
and
but it's not like, this isn't like a note that you scribbled on a napkin. All of you went together to a bank to have it notarized and fully legal. I mean, there's a certain amount of planning involved in that. What is really going on here?
She insisted that he be buried on Saturday because she cleaned his apartment out. She never called to us, asked us that we want anything of my sons. My son has 3 children and 2 grandchildren. She did not give his family anything. My grandchildren has no memories of their dad.
How could they have no memories of their dad?
I mean, and they're right, but I mean,
how old was he when he passed?
He was 41.
Okay.
And his birthday was the 6th. He would have been 42.
Right. So.
But she could have did it in a better manner. I asked her, I says, when can we come to distribute his things out to his children? And she says, oh, I may call you on Wednesday. She never called. She never made a phone call to give his children anything. She never made a phone call.
What'd she do with all the clothes and everything? Did you ever talk to her about it?
She blocked us. She blocked everyone.
I want to say first and foremost, what she's saying is a lie. I didn't do that. The reason why I blocked her is because she'd been saying mean and horrible things about me, that I killed her son. I never loved him. I had a policy on him, and that's one of the reasons why she don't want to pay. I cleaned the apartment out before her son died. I did so much to him. And it's sad because the funeral home wasn't the only one that said that. That's why she's blocked in the majority of her family because she was spreading lies. I never did anything. I love that man with all my heart. When he died in my arms. I did everything in my power to make sure that Joe was okay. I took him to dialysis. I did everything that a wife should do for her husband, because we were not legally married, but in our eyes, we were, because that was my husband and I was his wife.
Who told you that she blamed you for his death?
Different family members.
Do you blame her for his death?
She doesn't even speak to my family members, no ma'am. It took her more than an hour to call 911.
And you said that in the answer to the complaint.
Yes, we were on the phone for at least 20 minutes before. She was not crying, she was not hysterical, she was not upset. She says, he's acting weird. She said, he's acting weird. I said, what do you mean? She says, I think he needs to go to the hospital and he will not help me to get him dressed. I called his brother twice and he didn't answer. So, so we're talking and I'm saying, well, where is he? Normally she would say, oh, he's here if I would hear his voice. So something didn't feel right. So I says, is he breathing? She says, no. I said, could you please call 911 and I will call his brother. She says, well, I don't want them to come here and see him naked and I have to get dressed. I'm saying, when my son got there and my sister got there, my son was still laying there.
Just stop a second. Did that conversation go down that way? Did you ever say, I'm not going to call 911 yet because I don't want anybody to see us naked? All right.
What happened was,
go ahead.
I called his brother, he didn't answer. I called his sister-in-law, she didn't answer. So I called Miss Linda. I said, Miss Linda, what she said.
What were you calling them for, though? Like, what were they?
Because when he normally sick like that, he normally is okay. But
so you were trying to figure out what you should do next?
Yes, because when she's like, where is he? I said, he's right here, but it's like he's not responsive. She said, well, call 911. As soon as I hung up with her, and I did, and I spoke to the 911 dispatch, and I talked to her, and I said, well, I'm performing CPR. I'm trying to do everything, but he's still non-responsive. Yeah. She said, okay, I'm sending the paramedics and the fire department to you. So I stayed there with him until I had to leave and go answer the door, because the way to come into the building, either you have to get buzzed in or I have to come let you in. That's when I left him, besides trying to get a towel. Yes, he was naked, but that didn't have anything to do with it because the paramedics still tried to perform their duty.
When after the funeral did things go bad between you two?
The day, that Monday when I...
That quickly?
Yes.
When did you first get the inkling that she wasn't going to pay your parents?
When, I guess, after my father made a couple attempts to call and text.
So tell me about that, Mr. Brown. Did you made some attempts to collect?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I called her in January, giving her time, for the insurance money to come and everything.
Did the insurance money come, by the way?
Yes,
Okay, go on, sir. I'm sorry, that's all I asked. Go ahead.
Okay. And no one would answer. She wouldn't answer her cell phone and everything. I kept calling. So I called back next week. She wouldn't answer, doing the same thing. So I used somebody else's number. Her husband answered, and I talked to him. I said, well, can you ask Miss Linda to call me? He said, well, she's not in, but I will tell her. I had text messages where I tried to text her and didn't get no response.
So she just would ignore you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you just finally got tired and filed the lawsuit?
Well, after, yes, I did.
What were you going to say? After what?
I didn't want to.
Oh, I know you didn't want to.
Because I don't get no enjoyment coming here.
Of course not.
She lost her son, and I know she's grieving, but we loved him just as well. I had lost a son as well, so I know how she feels.
I wonder what he thinks of this right now, if he's looking at this right now.
Yes.
If he's looking down right now on the two women who were the most important to him in his life, I wonder what he's thinking right now that it came to this.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai-iced coffee-flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Why do family members fight so much when somebody dies?
You know, Harvey, I think people are selfish and they always want to be the favorite child and they feel like they deserve to get the property or the money.
Okay, so you think it's greed. Yeah. You think it's greed.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I would totally agree with what she said. It's all about money.
Is it all about money or is it deeper than that? Anybody think it's deeper? Huh?
Sometimes it's hurt feelings. Hurt of the loss.
Hurt of the loss. Okay, well that's, you kind of grudgingly said that going inside the courtroom.
He will be mad. Because of what's going on. I do speak to the oldest son and his wife. We're very close. I talk to them and check on them as well as they call and check on me. And like I told him the other day, I said, I don't hate your mom, I still love her. I said, actually, I have something for your mom when I see her at court.
You have something for her
now? Yes, I do.
What do you have for her?
I have a picture of Gilmore and my cousin at the wedding that we attended in August, and I wrote her a letter. And I wanted to give it to her because I do love her. I don't hate her. I wish her well. And I told Tone I wish that we all can get together and celebrate the death of Mar and talk about them, whether it was good times or bad times, laugh and do like we used to do. But when someone says horrible things like that, how are you supposed to feel? Everybody knew Jomar was my world. We went through a lot. And to hear that, it was like, I don't even know how to describe it.
I'm trying to understand why you would feel the anger that you appear to feel, because there would be no reason not to pay back Mr. Brown and Ms. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. And I felt what she's saying is not true. She does not speak to my oldest son. She may speak to his girlfriend. I'm not angry. I never get angry because I'm a God-fearing person, first and foremost. My son had a section. It's some things here from people that wrote letters, and this is something that she sent to my son's stepson about how I'm mean and I'm evil. I reached out and texted.
I think both of you have said and done. Can I just ask you a question? Is it a fair statement that both of you have said and done things that maybe you wish you hadn't said and done?
Yes. But I have not said anything to her. Yeah. She came to my house.
Show me the text. Show me the text.
You know, but this is her. This is the real her. This is the real. Here's my son. Here's the content, some pictures and the trash that she sent to my house from my son's belongings. She sent the bags, old clothes. My son.
I know his birthday's coming up. I want to maybe release some balloons, like his favorite color or something. I don't know what his mom is going to do. Honestly, babe, I don't deal with that woman. She's just pure evil. Whoever you sent that to gave it to her. Now, let me ask you, Gwen. Maybe, are there things that you say and do that maybe weren't in the best interest of having peace between you two? I realize you could just go on with your lives and never know each other again, but you're sitting here shedding tears. I expected the answer to my question to be, yeah.
And I can show you that.
I said that after the fact that everything that happened.
I don't want. No. She has something she wants to give you. Do you want the letter and the and the picture? Yes or no, do you want it?
Sure, I'll accept it because I don't have any ill-mannered feelings towards her. What she's saying is not the truth.
All right, everybody says they don't have animosity towards the other one. I expect you to have a little more than lack of animosity. You know what I expect? I expect you to have a little regret for some things, and not to stand there and say, no, I regret nothing, I've done nothing. No, I expect you to have a little regret for some things, and I expect there to be some kind of reverence for him that would cause the two of you to seek to have some peace from here on in. That's what I would like. That's what I would like to see. In the meantime, I've got to just rule on the case in front of me. No, we're done. And what I'm going to do is rule on the case in front of me. It could not be clearer that there's a promissory note and that the money, in fact, is owed. So I'm going to enter a judgment for the amount, which is $2,780, the exact amount sued for, plus, of course, the court costs. Verdict for the Browns.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, the judge has ruled in the plaintiff's favor, and you really are going to have to give the $2,780.
I don't have a problem with that. My intentions were to pay him, is the point. I reached out to them several times. They never answered my calls. She blocked everyone. So how can you pay someone that's blocked you?
She gave you a picture. Have you looked at it?
I don't even know who that little girl is.
Well, we'll find out. Okay. Do you think you guys can have peace at some point?
I don't have anything in my heart that would stop me from it. It's her.
All right. Well, good luck to you. I'll talk to her. Hopefully, you can get some peace and love between you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Here come the plaintiffs now. You heard what she just said. What do you think? Do you think you can have peace?
Yes, because I love Gilmore. I still love him. Because of him.
By the way, who was the little girl in that picture?
My cousin.
Okay, because she didn't know didn't recognize her anyway.
No, she doesn't know.
Yeah, you're the plaintiffs in this case. This is finally, you can step up here a little bit. You're finally going to get the money that you're suing for.
I'm just glad it's over and done with it. You know, I don't feel good about,
I'm sure you don't.
grieving mother.
Okay. Well, listen, I hope you can work this out, okay?
Yes.
Good luck to you all.
Thank
you very much. All right, very sad situation indeed. Harvey?
Okay, look, Doug, I mean, there are a lot of issues about the guy's property, but the bottom line here is a loan, and it's got to get paid back. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Komm du noch?
If you've had that sound from Babbel before, I bet you do. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app that actually works. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel gets you on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. With over 16 million subscriptions sold and a 20-day money-back guarantee, just start speaking another language with Babbel. Right now, up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Spotify podcast. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify podcast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This is the plaintiff, Brooks Kavanaugh. She says the defendant's a lunatic who can't handle his out-of-control temper, and something needs to be done to keep this menace off the roads. The guy attacked her car with his fists at a red light, causing $1,682.54 worth of damages, just what she's suing for. And she hopes the judge will throw the book at him today, so he learns his lesson once and for all. This is the defendant, Steve Lazak. He says the plaintiff cut him off, then rolled down her window and threw coins at his car. When he caught up to her, he confronted her about the coins. The cops were called. This whole thing started due to the plaintiff's road rage. He denies touching her car, and now it's up to the judge to decide. He's accused of beating up a car. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $750.85 for repairs.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant has an out-of-control temper, claiming he attacked her car with his fists. The defendant says the plaintiff cut him off and threw coins at his car. It's the case of all the road rage.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome in.
Brooks Kavanaugh and Mr. Steve Lazak. All right, folks, let's discuss the unabashed road rage that took over both of your lives and is now about to humiliate you.
Okay.
What happened?
I was in my car with my son, who is my witness. We were traveling down a one-lane road. As we approached a traffic light, the lane broke up into 2 lanes. I proceeded to go over to the right lane. He was in the left lane. All of a sudden, he started doing this with his steering wheel and ended up cutting in front of my lane while I was traveling. I slammed on my brakes and honked my horn. He continued to come into my lane, and there were cars behind me that slammed on their brakes as well. The traffic light turned red. I proceeded through the light. At this point, he was in front of me. As we were traveling down the road, he kept brake checking, and the road forked. There was a traffic light. He put his left indicator on to make a left-hand turn. I proceeded to head down to the right. There was no red light for me. It was green for me. I proceeded down the road. I passed him. He was on the left, and I honked my horn at him.
How smart was that? To beep the horn at him, like, you know, did you give him the finger too, or?
I just looked straight ahead.
And beeped the horn?
And beeped the horn and continued down the road.
Who's in the car with you? Which
my son is my witness.
And what's he saying to you while that's going on?
My son?
Like, yay, Mom? Or
well, I actually said to my son, I'm glad that he's making a left-hand turn.
But
because
I'm glad he's making a left-hand turn because I'm done with him. Wait, not so fast!
Yeah. At that point, I was a little concerned.
Were you concerned? Because you sounded aggressive to me when you beeped the horn. Because you see, had you not beeped the horn, we wouldn't be here, right? Because what happens is then he starts to chase you once you beep the horn.
And that's exactly what happened.
Right, exactly. And that's what you have to plan for. You see? That you don't know the other guy.
Correct.
That's what everybody has to plan for.
Correct.
You don't know who you're dealing with. So go ahead.
So I proceeded down the road, and as I'm driving down the road, I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and he all of a sudden went out of his lane and started chasing me down the road. We proceeded down, it was about a half a mile, I think, and as we approached another traffic light, he was right up on my bumper. Right up on my bumper. I could not even see his license plate. I picked up the phone and I called the local police because I was scared. They put me through to dispatch. I was talking to dispatch and she asked me what his license plate number was. I said, I cannot read it. He's right on my bumper.
How could you read it otherwise anime?
Well, I was hoping my son would be able to read it.
Right, and so stand up, son, front and center. So how are you going to read it?
I tried, like I was sitting in the front seat, I tried looking around to see through the back window. Maybe I could see it, but he was so close to the car, I couldn't even see his headlights.
Okay.
And then we got to the next traffic light, and now he's gotten out of his car. All of a sudden, I hear a bang, and I look in my mirror, and he's out of his car. And he's weaving
What's the bang? What was the bang?
His car door. He slammed his car door, and he gets out of his car, and he starts working his way over to my car. He came up to my car window and he said, "You think this is so funny? See how funny you think this is."
Why would he say you think
I
this
don't
is
know
so
because
were
we
you
never
laughing?
had. There was no
Were you
interaction.
laughing?
No interaction.
Were you laughing?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Okay, so go ahead.
No interaction.
So he said, "You think this is so funny?"
"You think this
is your window up or down?
My window. My son told me, "Put your window up, lock your doors,
So
and
the
look
window
straight
was
ahead."
up.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but you can hear him yelling. You think this is funny?
So the dispatcher said to me, she heard him.
You think this is, what does he say? You think this is so funny?
He said, "You think this is so funny? See how funny you think this is." And he took both of his fists and he banged them on the roof of my car. And you could hear metal hitting the roof of my car. And I was still on the phone with the dispatcher, and she said to me, "Is that him that I hear?" I said, "That is him." And she said,
"Do you have the tape of the dispatch?"
I have the supplement of the dispatcher, what she said.
Yeah, let me see that.
Okay.
And so go on.
And so she said, "That's him that I hear." I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "Oh my gosh." She at that point said to the police, because she was on the phone with the police at the same time, and she said to him, "You need to get there. This is bad," she said. "This is the supplement. This is what the dispatcher said."
Give me any police report you have.
I have the police report as well.
So what happens?
So at that point, she said, "Okay, the police are right down the road. I want you to make a right-hand turn and then make your first left onto the side street." At this point, he's already passed me, and he's made the same left-hand turn. At that point, as soon as I made the left-hand turn, I saw 3 police cars coming up the road with their lights.
Okay.
So I opened up my window and I flagged them down. At this point, I was close to tears.
Okay.
Because now we pull in to the side street.
You know I don't feel sorry for you, though, right?
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think you asked for this whole situation. I think that you allowed this to escalate with your son in your car, who you should be a protector of. You're a grown woman. If he's a lunatic, you allowed a lunatic into your life with your son next to you. That's how I'm looking at it as a mother. What happened?
Okay, ma'am. There's a point, if you said I sent pictures in of this road where it splits, and the right side just before the school road is a right turn only lane, right? So I look back, and I guess I cut her off, but she was trying to pass me illegally on the right. I didn't
What do you
mean
mean
to.
you cut her off?
It means that after I went there, I realized that she was coming up fast behind me, and it was probably trying to get in the open spot before me. And then I look behind me, and I hear the beeping, and the young gentleman's waving his arms around and giving me the finger and being rather rude, but I don't really care, because to be honest, it's New Jersey, ma'am. If you can get upset and if anybody gives you a finger, you're never going to drive anywhere. And so
Truer
I go
words were
down,
never
and
spoken.
a little further up, and I have pictures of that road, too. There's a spot where the road goes, and there's two lights, one for a left turn and a light for straight ahead, but straight ahead's usually green. Left turn was red. I stopped there. I looked behind me to see she was behind me a little bit, see her hand coming out of the window. And I'm thinking, well, going to flip me the bird or something. I don't care. And all of a sudden, she passes me. I hear a clink, clink, clink of what I assume were coins, because when I was younger, me and my brother told coins each other they were driving. Just kind of a fun thing to do.
It's not a fun thing to do.
You're
It's
right, man. But
criminal
we were
mischief.
young. It was the 70s. We drove beat-up cars, and we did it for a joke. So I know what coins sound like. And then I saw that she passed me, their hand going back in. I realized she threw coins at me. Now, to be honest, I should have just followed her and called the cops. So I followed her, beeping the horn, to say, why do you throw coins at me?
Is that what you're saying by beeping the horn and following her?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Put your
trying to
hand
find
down.
why she would throw these coins at me. So I do try to get the next light to talk to her. And she drives off. And I can understand why, because, to be honest, I originally got out with some coins in my hand, and if the gentleman got out, I was going to throw him and say, here's your change. But he didn't get out, so I just threw the coins on the ground. And ma'am, so at the second light, I caught her. I went up to her window, and I banged on the top of the window with my flat in my palm, back like that, to get her attention, because she wouldn't even look me in the eye. I'm like, why? And to be honest, to my shame, I used foul language and called her a stupid witch with a B instead of the W a couple of times, and said, would you throw coins at me?
How do you know if they have a gun?
Honestly, ma'am, if
How do you
I
know
let
if
my
the
ego
son
ready to check
wasn't
my body
gonna?
can't cash, it's my
I'm
fault.
sorry. How do you know that the son isn't looking at you, thinking of you as a threat to his mama, and doesn't have a gun in the glove compartment? He's going to shoot you right between the eyeballs. How do you know?
I don't know.
Do you have anything to lose? Do you have children? Do you
I
have
have
somebody
a family
who loves
to lose.
you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So do you ever think that through? Because
Honestly,
it's not
ma'am,
even, it's not even like you're doing this to a female traveler so you're not afraid. There's a guy in the front seat, too.
I wouldn't have done it to a female who was by herself. That would have been wrong.
Oh, that would have been wrong. But this is okay.
Ma'am, it was not okay, but there are certain lines that a gentleman never crosses. You don't terrorize women or children when there's not a gentleman there to protect them.
That's her son. So you can terrorize women and children when the son is there, just not without the son.
He's 30 years old or something, ma'am. I don't think that he's a child.
Okay, so what did you do next?
So I slapped the top of the window right there where the window meets the roof right there in the corner with my open hand, trying to get her attention, to say, look me in the eye. If you're going to throw coins at me, at least look me in the eye, explain why. And then we went to the next light, and she took a right, and I realized when I got out, I was going to get out again. And as I got out, I saw her start to back up to go avoid, and I realized, it's gone too far. We're not going to do it.
Oh, now it's gone too far.
We're at West County. You know what, ma'am? I did cross a line. I'm not going to deny that fact. I was wrong. I've heard it almost daily from my wife how wrong I was. So I understand that. But so she goes, takes the right there. She goes to take the left at the next road that has a light. And I just passed to the right because I got to go the other way anyway. So I passed to the right and pull into the next street on the left so I could turn around, do a legal U-turn. And I did. I noticed she came behind me, did a U-turn in the middle of the street, then parked me in on that street. And then I got out, went to the window. The young gentleman opened the window and said, you damaged our roof. And I'm like, I didn't even touch your roof. And then the police showed up. And to be honest, ma'am, the police talked to both of us, saw my demeanor, saw what happened, didn't write up any tickets on anybody. As a matter of fact, the officer told me, I don't see how you could have did the damage she claims you did.
Do you have pictures?
I do. And actually, I don't know if at this time I can say what I want to say, but that is not what he said to me when he got out of his car for the third time.
What was
he
it he
came
said?
up to my car, and my son put the car window down on the passenger side and yelled out to him, "Stay away, the police are on their way." And he said, "I don't give a you-know-what whether they're coming or not."
Did you throw coins at his car?
I didn't. We weren't even in a position. We were not even close
Yes or no?
to his car. No, ma'am.
Did you
we
throw
did
coins
not.
at his
No,
car?
ma'am.
Did your mother throw coins
No,
at his
she did
car?
not.
Did you guys throw something else at his car?
No.
We threw nothing. Our windows were up.
Do you have photos that you want me to see? I know there's a
I do.
video.
These are just photos of the intersection.
But so he's not being honest when
Photos
he says
of the
that he,
damage to the car?
Correct. I also have 3 estimates that I got that same, like within 3 or 4 days after this happened.
2 circles are chips. 1 circle is a dent.
How did this damage happen?
He took both of his fists and he was banging them on the roof of my car.
What kind of car is this?
It's a Chevy Cruze.
So this is the police report, correct?
Correct.
According to the police report, you say that you pulled up to her vehicle and threw change out of your window.
Yeah, I threw it on the ground, I told him, but I got out of the car before I threw it. Because I was there.
But he threw it down to the ground and not at her vehicle.
Not when I was driving.
He stated he did, well, that's not how this reads. He stated he did get out of his vehicle several times, but was just trying to get her attention and slapped her window with an empty hand.
Can I say something, ma'am?
Yeah, just a second.
Yes,
First,
ma'am.
I'd like to see this.
This is the first officer that arrived. You can see my car right there. That's him in the blue, standing right next to my car. So he approached. That's the 3rd time he's approached the car.
Okay.
This
Hold
is the
on.
officer that just pulled
The
up.
officer is just pulling up.
Correct.
Yes.
All right.
That's how close he was to the car.
And now, obviously, he sees the police coming, so he's backing off now. He's backing off because the police have approached now.
No, he's actually not backing off, even though he sees the police approach. He's still chicken necking. What is wrong with you? Like, why would you? Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
I have 1 child, ma'am.
How old?
11, ma'am.
Does your 11-year-old know this happened?
Yes, I explained to him, and I explained to him I was wrong.
Is this like your shining, crowning achievement as a dad? Is this the kind of thing you would like to be remembered for?
No, ma'am.
Wow.
Can I interject one thing? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. In the beginning, when he was making the left-hand turn and we were following to the right.
Can I just tell you people,
Yes.
I don't care who violated a traffic light or made an illegal this or made it like, do you 2 idiots not understand the importance of what just developed in front of me? Do you think it matters who ran who off a road, who ran a red light, who had the right of way? Every day in traffic, people make a mistake or get greedy or get impatient. The 2 of you took it to another level. I used to be a prosecutor in Dade County. Do you have any idea how many road rage homicides I personally handled? You never know who you are dealing with.
Why is it, how is it that 2 people who don't know each other can do something on the road and get into a road rage incident?
Bad day at work.
Well, no, it's not just, there's something deep.
I think they're just probably an angry person, or they just think that they're almost more important than the other person, and that they should have the right of way.
I get it, but I'm talking deeper. What is the psychological?
Pride and ego. It's the pride and ego. Yeah. My sister has. I'm sorry, my sister's watching.
No, but I'm telling you, that is so interesting. I think you're right, going inside the courtroom.
What year car is this?
2017.
You have a counterclaim against her.
For the coin damage, ma'am. Also, can I say something else, ma'am?
Nope, because I
Okay.
first want to look at your pictures,
All right.
where you're going to show me coin
So-
damage. Okay. So those are 2 marks on your car, and you're telling me those are coin damage. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am, there was some more, but the
Okay,
gentleman
how
said
do
it
I
was
know
off map.
that's coin damage? Because you don't act like a guy who had something thrown at you. A guy who has something thrown at you in the car calls the police immediately to discuss it.
I've never been the call police kind of guy, ma'am, to my shame. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
But can I say something, ma'am?
So your counterclaim against her is for $750 to fix up your car.
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a 2018 Sorrento, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have an estimate for the damages to your car?
I do. I have 3.
May I have it, please?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Three things, actually. One, the gentleman said he couldn't even see my headlights. I'm driving an SUV and he's in a small car. How could he not see my headlights? That's the kind of... Two...
Because he was so close to us.
And second of all, ma'am, how do you chip paint even if I hit their car with my bare hands on the top of it, which I did not? You can't chip paint with your bare hands.
I don't know, maybe your ring hit it. I have no idea. That's a hard place to chip paint, period. It's more likely to happen when someone's banging on it than any other way.
Can I ask or say one more thing?
Yeah.
When this all came to an end on the side street, the officer approached our car. He had already spoken to the defendant, and he said to me that there was absolutely no damage observed on his car at all.
Okay, everybody just stop talking because I'm going to need to shower after this one's over. Thank you for bringing me 3 estimates.
You're welcome.
I know you picked the center one. I am going to pick the least because that's the measure of damages. If you can get it done acceptably that way. I'm going to order the defendant to pay you $1,214.03 on your counterclaim against her 0.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails, not to the tune that she was hoping for, but she does get a good bit of money. I think you made the judge mad. What do you think?
I think the judge was right to be mad. I actually made a mistake. I shouldn't have let it carry on the way I did. I should let the crazy people go and not try to keep the crazy up.
But what happens when you're the crazy person?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have an excellent
Thank
day,
you very
sir.
much. Yeah, I'm having a good day. All right. Ms. Kavanaugh? I don't think you made the judge happy either, you know. She was a little fried at both of you. Don't you think so?
I do think she was a little upset.
Yeah, really.
Rightfully
really.
so.
Okay. The question here is the same thing to you.
Yes.
What do you think you would do if this kind of thing happened? I mean, would you do that again?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Honestly, I did not think that he was going to go to the extent that he did, but he really went over the top.
Yeah, it could happen. It's Jersey, right?
It is a lesson to be, yes, as he said.
I'm so sorry for you. All right, I hope
Thank
you
you.
guys learned a lesson. You better get out of the court while you're
Thank you
safe.
very much.
Get going. Harvey?
Here's how stupid it is. You throw a punch and somebody hits the concrete and dies, you get prosecuted for manslaughter. Just drive away.